No questions? Ji.
So in about the 7 pillars, we know that in the Shia Islam there's 7 pillars. Usually they say there's 5, and they usually say we add 2 to it, which is walaya and tahara. But then the question is, why then do we not have shahada? Because usually in the traditional 5 pillars, they say shahada is the first pillar, meaning reciting ashhadu an la. But in ours we have walayat, and then tahara comes second, which means that shahada cannot be there. Is that because it's subsumed under walayat, or is it just not considered a pillar of Islam?
Shahada does not consider as the pillar because Shahada is a requirement to be Muslim to even follow the pillars. So Shahada is like admission. It's not a classes. And pillars are the 7 classes that you're supposed to join to get to where you need to go. Or the 7 actions that is required to become a true Muslim, a true Shia or true Ismaili. Example of that is if you don't have a bayat of the Imam, it doesn't matter what we are doing, it would not count. So bayat is the requirement to even get to the Jamaatana or go to the Jamaatana. So bayat is a requirement before you get there. So Shahada, and one of the ayat I just remember, O Iman walo, Iman lao. O believers, believe. He's already saying, oh believers. So a person who says La ilaha illallah becomes Muslim. Is he truly Muslim yet? He just said, I wanted to be Muslim. And by saying that, he says Shahada. In Ismaili, we take the bayat. But we haven't done anything yet. We haven't practiced anything yet. So those 7 pillars are the practice or the practical exams that we take every day. The Valaya and the Tahara and then all the other 5. And we have a book sitting over here. If you have not received a copy, do take that. This will explain all 7 in detail. And it's not that big. I don't think it's more than 20-30 pages, English or Urdu. So if you read that, it will tell you in detail what does each means. Especially we do get confused in when it comes to Roza and Hajj and Jihad and Namaz. This will explain that how we are following all 7 pillars in our tariqah. We are following it, and how are we following it? This book will explain. It's not very book. G. Any other question? G.
So I would just give a thought, right? That why do we need knowledge and ibadat? And the simple reason, okay, the way when we take it like it's knowledge, coming to classes, picking up Quran, studying, it feels too much. I'm already doing a lot in my worldly life. It sounds too much. So I always say to those of us who feel like that, think of it as ishq of Imam. And then the journey becomes so easy. Think of it that you love Imam. For his love, you are going to do what you are going to do. Right? To study, taking out time from your worldly life to spend 2 hours. So Tamasha Farman is there that you have to spend 2 hours thinking about your religion. Not saying dua, not doing ibadat, that's separate. Remember we talked about dasam? Those 3 hours are must. But if you want to do something extra, meaning taking the elevator and moving up fast, then you need to give 2 hours extra studying this knowledge. So if we study this knowledge, then what happens? When we sit in bandagi, we are going further faster. So it's very hard to take our time from our worldly duties. But whenever you feel that way, remember that thought is from Shaitan. He does not want us to walk on Sirat al-Mustaqim. Sirat al-Mustaqim is a path and you want to walk. But it does not want you to walk. It wants you to stay there. Right? So when you start thinking of reading and then say, oh my God, I don't have time. How will I do it? How will I fit those 2 hours into that? Think of it as, because I love Imam, I will do it. As soon as that thought comes to an Ismaili, we are able to do things. Impossible. I do not know where the time comes from, but we are able to do it. So think of it as always love of Imam. Whenever you have, a question in your mind, you listen to a lecture, pick up a Quran, highlight the verse you just heard. It makes you, feel good actually that you become a student. And remember when we had done the stages of Momin, going up further, the first is to become a student. So in order to become a student, we have to have books, we have to have pen, notebook. If we don't do that, then it is hard to keep this knowledge into us, because it's very easy for us to get busy in worldly things and forget about things. But when you review, when you repeat, you study, then you learn it.
So Alia is asking, if someone practice for 20, 30, 40 years or even their whole life and does not receive the nur within their lifetime, would we get another chance after we die? Or will we be able to do ibadat after we die? Okay, very good question. So think about it. What does angels do? What is their job today? What is their job today? Angels, they just do ibadat. If that is the job of an angel, what will be the job of our soul after we pass away?
Just do that.
We will have nothing to do but ibadat. Remember, in our tariqah, there is nothing but hope. In our tariqah. In other tariqahs, they will tell you, if you do not succeed in this life, you're going to hell. You're going to burn. No, not in Ismaili tariqah. You try your best. You try your best, and at the end, you will be given a chance again and again and again, and you will be able to do your ibadat, and you will eventually reach to the nur of the Imam. So let's say you have done whole your life ibadat. I don't think you will be on the first step. Let's say you are on the 58th floor. Now you only have 50 more to go. So when you die, you will be able to continue that habit of ibadat that you had in this world. Remember, that's a habit that you have built. And your soul remembers that and will continue to do the ibadat and will reach to that point. Someone can say, what about the knowledge? Well, I'll be able to get more knowledge after I die. If there was your habit in this life, and your soul will remember that, your habit was to take the knowledge and do the ibadat, then after you die, those will continue. You will be able to receive the knowledge also. The shape may be not this, that you are sitting and somebody is teaching you. Its shape will be a little bit different. But for sure, without any doubt, that you will receive the knowledge if that was the habit of your soul. And you will continue to do your ibadat if that was the habit of your soul. I mean, Imam's Farman again. Just sit. Don't worry about it. Just sitting in the ibadat itself is a blessing. So all the blessings that you have received during your lifetime, you think, oh, kuch bhi nahi hai? You think it's not going to give you any fruit? No, definitely. You will have received a lot of ranks. You may not know it, but you have increased your rank a lot by doing the ibadat. So, in our tariqah, there is always and always, matter of fact, there is nothing but a hope that we are with Imam, and we will be with Imam, and we were always with the Imam in a back too. We came from him, we are with him, and we're going to go back to him. There's nothing stopping us. Ji.
Can you please explain more about as a noor? Because you just said that wo ek batti nahi hai ke, once you are sitting in the bandagi and you will see the light. There must be stages of the noor, but some, as we are so little kid in front of the imam in the spiritual matter, that we don't understand that noor. Yes, we are sitting in the bandagi, but yes, Hazir Mom is giving us a fruit, Hazir Mom give us a blessing, but we are not able to understand. So how we can understand more as a Noor is not the light as we know, it's understanding, but how we can understand more about that understanding?
So we are all heard the question. So let's change the word नूर to दीदार कि जब हम इबादत में बैठेंगे तो हमको दीदार होगा इमाम का. Now इमाम का दीदार इमाम के नूर की सूरत में भी हो सकता है और दीदार किसी भी सूरत में हो सकता है. How would I say कि दीदार किसी भी सूरत में हो सकता है? Think of our 5 senses. हमारे 5 senses हैं, लेकिन when we think of a didar or when we think of a nur, we limit that didar and the nur to one sense only, and that is of seeing. हम उसको आँख के लिए लिमिट कर देते हैं. Remember the lady was telling me something was happening to her and she did not understand. What about, she didn't tell me, but what about कि उसको दीदार हो रहा था लेकिन कान के जरिए से हो रहा था. What do you mean कान के जरिए से दीदार कैसा हो सकता है? Because दीदार का ताल्लुक ही, दीदार has to do something with दीद, देखना, seeing. But now I'm saying maybe she was receiving the didar through her ears. What about उसको दीदार हो रहा था smell से, नाक के जरिए से. And I will explain all this. Don't get confused. What about she was getting something through the smell? And that was puzzling her, making her confused. What about उसको छूने का दीदार हो रहा था? She was just feeling something. But that is also our sense. So why are we limiting ourselves to the seeing only? We have a taste, we have a smell, we have a hearing, and we have a touching. 4 और senses है हमारे. Imam, he can and he does. He can and he does. Eventually, अगर आपका first दीदार आपके eyes के जरिए से है, so your second दीदार may be through your ears, through your nose, through your tongue, or through your touch. So how does that happen? That is the question, I believe. How does that happen? What about इमाम को आपको एक और इसमें आज़म देना होगा. इमाम को आपको एक और इसमें आज़म देना है, additional to what you already have. How would he give to you? It has to come through ears. अगर इमाम आकर आपको कान से एक इसमें आज़म देता है तो इमाम वहाँ पर मौजूद है कि नहीं है देने के लिए? आपको दिखाई नहीं दिया लेकिन आपको सुनाई दिया. इमाम आपको एक और इसमें आज़म देता है. How confusing that would be. You are sitting इबादत, let's say your इसमें आज़म is यालिया मोहम्मद. ठीक है, आप यालिया मोहम्मद यालिया मोहम्मद, अचानक से आपको कान में आवाज़ आती है या वहाब. आप फौरन से बोलते हैं यालिया मोहम्मद, वापस आवाज़ आती है या वहाब. You're not paying attention to it. क्यों भाई? Because you don't even know कि ये भी हो सकता है. You don't know that कि ये भी हो सकता है.
इमाम के वर्ड को कैसे चेंज कर दे सुन के, क्योंकि
तो
इमाम ने दिया.
okay. When we don't have an understanding of this, ठीक है ना, इमाम ने दिया तो कैसे चेंज करें हम, right? That is true. Good question. How long would you resist before you will say that something is happening and something is telling me in my heart? Remember what Imam says. फरमान हमारा सामने है. When you receive that, you will have no doubt in your mind. When you receive that, you will have no doubt in your mind. Initially क्या होता है? Initially आप यूँ करेंगे, इसको झाड़ देंगे. You will ignore it initially, and that's natural human instinct, right? ठीक है ना? फिर second time होगा, फिर third time होगा. How long will you ignore it before you will say there is something happening to me? something, why would I only hear this जब मैं इबादत में बैठता हूँ? I don't hear this all day long. Or the night that I don't go for ibadat. If I don't wake up for ibadat, I don't hear it. But as soon as I sit on ibadat, and I'm doing my Yali Ya Muhammad, which was given to me by the Imam Zaman, but I'm hearing something. My Ismi Azam automatically changing. अब बैठा हुआ Yali Ya Muhammad, Ya Wahab, Ya Wahab, Ya Wahab. ये क्या हो गया? How did I get to Ya Wahab? You will ignore it maybe one time or twice or three times. And then what will happen? Eventually you will pay attention to it. Remember, it is his job to teach you, and he will teach you, and you will have no doubt. लेकिन जब knowledge होता है ना हमारे पास, now that we know that can happen, how quickly will you catch that?
Acceptance बढ़ जाता है.
Acceptance बढ़ जाएगा. क्योंकि यहाँ तो आप बोले, it is not possible for Imam to come in my batin and give me Ismi Azam. Either you will say that, or you say everything is possible for Imam. If he wants to give me something, he does not have to come physically. I have a limitation. I cannot go to his door because nobody will let me in Eglomont. But he has no limitation. He can come into my heart anytime he wants. And if that's what he wants to do, because he knows best, he knows better, he knows this Ismi Azam will work for you, then he will come to my heart and he will change my Ismi Azam for me. Do you see that? Or we can say, no, he cannot do that. I'm not giving my Imam the permission to come to my heart and change my Ismi Azam. Remember, free will is ours. We can say that. But we know that Imam has no limitation. ये तो यहाँ पर हुआ. अभी सुनने का माजिदा. Remember, Imam gives you or shows you the miracles in your ibadat, so you may get happiness. ठीक है? अब आए कि आप इबादत में बैठे हुए हैं और आपको साबुन की खुशबू आती है, जो भी आपको लक्स साबुन, जो भी आपको अच्छा लगता है,
लोबान की खुशबू
लोबान की खुशबू आती है. Whatever smell that you like best, roses. I don't want to say biryani. You know, आप बोले हो सकता है बाजू में कोई बिरयानी बना रहा होगा,
ऐसा भी
right? लेकिन some good smell. I think soap is the best example I can give you. क्योंकि soap के अंदर जो attribution छुपे हुए हैं वो cleanliness के हैं, पाकीज़गी के हैं.
सफाई.
So if you smell this soap sitting in Jamathana, how would you comprehend that? How would you think of that? You cannot say कि भाई जमात में कोई soap use कर रहा होगा, because there's no one using soap. और वो भी soap वो जो आपको पसंद है. Because Imam does show you miracle. He wanted to tell you that I'm closer than you think. If I want, I can show you my presence in your smell. That's what he's saying to you. And that can happen. It does happen, and it happens with a lot of people. But because we don't understand, what do? Ignore it. Right? अब आए टेस्ट. अब जब सामने बैठे अचानक से आपकी ज़बान पर एक कोई ऐसा टेस्ट आता है कि जो आपको बचपन में याद था. You have not had that. Whatever, I don't know what example can I use of a fruit or sweet or खाना या rose या whatever. एक ऐसा टेस्ट जो यूनिक टेस्ट हो, वो अचानक से आपकी ज़बान पे आता है. And you have not had that for years and years. बचपन में आपने कोई एक चीज़ खाई थी जिसका टेस्ट आपको याद रह गया है, and then now you are 40-50 years old, but all of a sudden you have that taste on your tongue. How would you explain that? Again, Imam is telling you something, that I'm closer to you and I wanted to give you something to show you that I'm not too far from you. and I can give you that. He's showing you that. आखिरी वाला जो है वो टच का है, और यहाँ पर आकर लोग थोड़ा डर भी जाते हैं कि आपको फील होता है कि इमाम का हाथ आपके हाथ पर है, इमाम का हाथ आपके शोल्डर पर है. But if you truly believe that Imam can do that, you will not be confused or afraid. क्योंकि इमाम आकर आपको याद दिलाता है. Remember, this is all about him giving you something to remind you of how close he is to you. He can come and he can put his hand on your hand. And in your heart you will know that this is the hand of the Imam on your hand. You will know it. लेकिन अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं इमाम ऐसा नहीं कर सकता है तो आप डर जाएंगे. Because you think कि इमाम ऐसा नहीं कर सकता है. But if you believe it, then you will feel his hand in your hand, you will feel his hand on your shoulder, on your head, and that is again another kind of a didar, or he's showing you and telling you how close he is to you. And then if you keep practicing and you keep using your Isme Azam, and remember कि Isme Azam के अंदर quality and quantity की ज़रूरत होती है. If you keep doing that, he's not too far before he gives you a Nurani Didar or his Didar in your Ibadat. It's not too far. He's already telling you that how close you are to him. He's already telling you that. Ji.
So I remember, the relationship with knowledge, right? We all have heard of Dua and Noor, and we say it, we learn it, but we don't understand the connection of it with the ibadat. So Dua and Noor is that, Ya Allah, give me Noor in my heart, in my ears, in my eyes, in my tongue. Give me Noor in my skin, flesh, bones, nerves, blood,
Hair.
Baal or khal, yeah. My hair, my skin, my blood and my nerves, my bones and my snooze. Then in front of me, behind me, right side, left side, above and below. Like we are surrounded from 16 direction all over in Noor. Noor can come from any direction, because we are asking, this is what we pray. This was one of the favorite prayer of Prophet Muhammad, right? Do you remember it in Arabic? Say it with me. Allahumma ja'alli nuran fi qalbi, wa nuran fi sam'i, wa nuran fi basari, wa nuran fi lisani, wa nuran fi sha'ri, wa nuran fi bashari, wa nuran fi lahmi, wa nuran fi dami, wa nuran fi izami, wa nuran fi asadi, wa nuran bayna yadaya, wa nuran min khalfi, wa nuran ay yamini, wa nuran ay yasari, wa nuran min fawqi, wa nuran min tahti. So this was the favorite prayer of Prophet Muhammad. After morning prayers, he would say this dua, asking for Noor. Prophet Muhammad, look at us, we are nobody. Prophet Muhammad. And then when we get this knowledge and we trying to understand Noor, then we would know, oh, Noor can come from any direction. But because we limit Noor in a box, we don't see beyond the box, we don't even realize. And how do we see beyond the box? It's only through knowledge. That is why he so emphasized beautifully that if we don't have two oars, there is no way we can move forward, because we'll keep missing the miracles of Imam. Because we've learned Dua and Noor, we are asking for Noor, we are sitting in Ibadat, but there is no knowledge to connect things. How, for us, it sounds like spirituality is so difficult, but he's saying it's so easy. It does not make sense. How can it be easy? But it is easy, because Imam says it. When Imam says it, meaning that it has to be easy. It is blessing. It is success. You cannot never be unhappy about it. Then what is missing? There is something missing in us, and that part is the true knowledge.
So this Dua Noor, Imam Jafar Sadiq in his time started the tradition by saying that this is the tradition of Prophet Muhammad, or his favorite dua after the morning namaz. So Imam Jafar Sadiq will recite this dua for the Jamaat. And he will teach the Jamaat by saying that you should recite this dua as Prophet Muhammad did. And look at it. How can we have a noor in our hair?
In my blood.
In my blood, in my bone, in my vein, in my flesh. Do you see that? हम तो सिर्फ 5 senses की बात कर रहे थे. But Imam is saying that Noor is surrounding you, inside of you and outside of you. 6 अतराफ में, ऊपर नीचे दाएं बाएं आगे पीछे. He's saying Noor is surrounding you. Do you know? इस दुआ के अंदर जो आखिर में जो क्वेश्चन है वो ये है कि Noor is surrounding you. Do you know? So when you believe that, when you learn that, then you start to feel that. Because otherwise, if you don't know it and if you don't believe it, when you feel it, it will be confusing. Because you did not know. उसमें आपका कसूर नहीं है, you just didn't know. Ji.
David wants to say about that.
Yeah, there was 2 questions in the back.
No, it was just in the connection of the question because you answered कि like अगर हम यहाँ पर इल्म ले रहे हैं जिस तरह और इबादत कर रहे हैं अगर तो कोई अगर जैसे मेरे जैसा कोई इबादत नहीं करता है या नहीं इल्म लेता है दुनिया में तो उसका किस तरीके से प्रिंसिपल अप्लाई होगा तो जिन्होंने यहाँ की तो वो भी वहाँ पे इसी तरह है.
So question is opposite to what Alia asked. If we do ibadat here, will we continue ibadat there? So she's saying, what about someone doesn't do ibadat and does not receive any knowledge, meaning the soul is not in habit of ibadat or the knowledge, then what will happen to that soul? That is the question, and very good question. So कुरान के अंदर एक छोटी सी आयत का एक छोटा सा हिस्सा है willingly, unwillingly, tahan wa karan. So if you don't do it willingly, then it will be imposed on you to do unwillingly. इसका reference है 41/11. Surah 41, ayat number 11, and there are 2 more references in 3 different places.
So what does unwillingly mean? Like how?
It will be imposed on you to do the ibadat and take the knowledge. Uski misal, the example to understand. And we have used the example many times here. एक लेडी है उसके 2 बच्चे हैं twin है let's say twin है 5-6 साल के हो जाते हैं. Now mother is taking both of those children to the school. One is wearing nice uniform, tie, backpack, so happy with the new shoes, is going to the school. The other brother is crying, screaming, and mother is dragging him to the school. They both eventually will get to school. They both eventually will sit in a class. They both will go through the school as per mother's wish. क्योंकि दोनों को जाना है. एक willingly जा रहा है, एक unwillingly जा रहा है. If we had willingly done what we are supposed to be doing, then we will happy to see that whatever we were not able to do in this short life, it will continue for us. If we had not, remember, once our soul is taken, there is no more free will. Free will is gone. So now what do you have left? Unwillingly. He will drag you into those classes. You will have to do the ibadat. लेकिन यहाँ पर जो तकलीफ है ना वो क्या है कि अब हम अनविलिंगली कर रहे हैं और वो हैप्पीली विलिंगली कर रहे हो गए. बस फर्क ये है. जी.
Free will is gone. How is one willingly and one unwillingly? Like, isn't it both willingly? Because will is there, so.
Okay. I didn't understand the question.
So, how could it be if a person is gone there, they all are there? How do they do it? Because it's not physical body now.
You're saying there's no free will, so.
Yeah. There's no what?
There's no free will.
Free
So
will.
how is it unwilling and willing?
Okay. So how do we understand willingly, unwillingly afterlife?
Afterlife, yeah, that's
Okay.
what she's
So there is no free will, right? Remember, if you had done the ibadat and you made the habit of your soul to do ibadat, if you had taken the knowledge and that's the habit of your soul, and when you die, what do you have? With some habits. So we all know that we're going to take a lot of things with us, what we have done in this world. If he had done ibadat, will he go with us or will he stay here? He will go with us. If he had taken the knowledge, will he go with us or will he stay here? He will go with us. Because there was the habit of our soul. So as soon we cross this line, only thing changes is the body. That's all it changes. Otherwise our soul is same on this side or this side. Because that's what you were doing for all your life, or most of your life. You will continue that journey willingly. Remember, you have no free will, that's what you're saying, but that's what you have habit, and you have said, Ya Mullah, you don't have to drag me, I'm going to do it willingly. Think of the child again. When the child sits in the class, what is the first thing he's going to do? He's going to open the bag, he's going to take his books out, because he was prepared for that. Our soul will be prepared for the journey. As soon he or she realizes where she is, she will continue from there. To go up, right? And the other one, he will also realize. But now, यहाँ पर जो realization है ना, वो एक ऐसा punishment होगा, अजीब और गरीब तरीके का. Remember, nobody gonna burn us, nobody gonna hit us, nobody gonna give us anything bad. There is no bad. खाली realization. Now think about these two twin brothers again. Alright, so दोनों पास होके उधर पहुंचेंगे. एक जो है ना वो यहाँ पर खड़ा होगा, एक यहाँ पर खड़ा होगा. आफ्टर लाइफ की बात कर रहा हूं मैं. ये वाला भाई रियलाइज करेगा. What he is going to realize? I could have been there, but I'm here. And if you think of the building, why am I staying on the first step on the first floor when my brother, same age and same time, is standing on 50th floor? The realization is punishment enough. This is all punishment. Just realization that I could have been there. So what he's going to do? He's going to do what he needs to do by force. He's going to take the knowledge, he's going to do the ibadat, and he's going to get there. How long would it take him? 50,000 years. If somebody was on 50th floor, it will only take him half of that time to get there.
So I want to explain the realization part, right? Take the example from the world. If you're in a family, two sisters, two brothers, whatever, right? And some event happened, like let's say two kids and who misbehaved in front of parents, and now something really happened to parents, for example, right? And now there's a guilt. Okay, there is a realization. I wish I had not done that. That pain, nobody. If we meet that person, we don't see it, but inside he's hurting. He's in pain. So imagine that pain. We all have done something in past and we have felt it, right? So nobody sees it. In worldly life, you smile and you greet, but inside you are burning constantly pain. You're like crying inside, but you cannot tell anybody. You know why? Because you did it with your free will. You put that on yourself with your willingness. So that pain, that realization is like as if you're in hell, created by your own actions, by your own thoughts. And you're burning and burning and burning, but there is no way now to say that or fix it what you had done. Only thing you can do is to pray to Imam for forgiveness or for whatever you've done. So that punishment, when you feel in your heart, in physical life, it's there. But you still have free will to say, ask for forgiveness, go to Jamaat Khana, say Mushkil Asan ki dua, whatever you do, you can get that forgiveness, some comfort. Now take that example and go to afterlife. You have no free will, you have no control, and you're just burning and burning and burning and burning. How bad, how multiplied the pain would be. That's the hell. Nobody's burning us, nobody's killing us, nobody's hitting us. But the pain which is created by realization of your own action, and you're burning within it by yourself. That's hell.
So, G.
So, Ibadat is an individual search, right? We've already said that and everything. So, can the Ibadat of other members of the Jamaat, or when we congregate other members sitting, with us, can their Ibadat help someone like me, and can my Ibadat help others in their Ibadat?
Good question, right? So remember the word khair khai, the goodwill. So there are different kind of mu'minins in Jamaatana. Okay? Or there are different kind of people in this world. One who work for themselves. That's it. They just work for themselves. Then there are people who work for us, meaning themselves and the others too. Then there are people who says to Mola Baba, Mola Baba, it really doesn't matter because I'm sinful. I may not even make it to anywhere or even inside that building on the first floor, on the first step. But you know what? It's okay. How about whatever good deeds I have, give it to Jamaat. Give all my good deeds to my Jamaat, to my fellow brother and sister, to my family, to my friend. So there are moments in Jamaatana today, they do ibadat for others. They don't do ibadat for themselves. And there are two kind of people in that also. The one who are what I just said, they say, I'm just too sinful, I don't think I'm going to make it, so I'm going to just do the good deeds for others. That's it. And they make the purpose of their life doing that. But there are other kinds who said, Ya Mola, I have reached where I needed to reach. Now everything I do from now on, I want to do it for my Jamaat. So they still come to Jamaatana. They still do the ibadat. But they're doing the ibadat for others. And they can do that. What is the worldly example of that? How do we understand that? So, yeah. So think of a family. A brother makes it, he makes it good, and other brother and sister don't. So all the money he has, all the influence he has, he can use that for his brothers and sisters. Does he need more money? No, he doesn't. He already made it. But he keep working. He keep running his company so he can help others within his family, right, brothers and sisters. He does that. Or someone, let's say there's another brother who says, I'm going to just work hard so my brother and sister can achieve and go somewhere. It doesn't matter what happens to me. And he does that. He never becomes rich, but he always takes care of his family. And then there are third people who are just working for themselves, never help their brothers and sisters. We know all these three kind of people around us, right? So yes, the answer to your question was, yes, others' ibadat can help us, definitely.
So I remember a verse by a Sufi. It's beautiful the way he says it. मेरे मौला ने मुझको लोगों से कुर्बान कर दिया. इस खलीली काम से सबको हैरान कर दिया.
Subhanallah.
That when a Arif reaches that level, he says that I have sacrificed myself for the Jamaat. And how can someone say that, Mawla, even if I'm first floor, I'm okay. Give the benefit of all my ibadat and my deeds to the Jamaat. Who is that generous? Yeah, that's amazing. We've never heard of example of that. We've heard of generosity in the world. That I have money, let me give it to charity or this or that. But who gives away the benefit of ibadat to Jamaat? But there are people like that too. So he says that, मेरे मौला ने मुझको लोगों से कुर्बान कर दिया. That I have been sacrificed by my imam on my Jamaat, on people. And due to this act of friendship, everybody is surprised. Aren't we surprised today? Who does that? But there are people like that.
You know what is the best example of that? Jamaat Bhai.
Yeah.
Especially honorary Jamaat Bhai. You know what Jamaat Bhai is? The person who opens the Jamaatana 365 days for years and years and years.
Yeah.
He has done that physically. Doesn't he need vacation? Doesn't he have a family? But what he does? He comes first thing in the morning, first thing in the evening. He stays late in the morning, late in the evening. He makes sure that everything is okay and you are comfortable. Remember, he's never comfortable because he always doing something. Most time he may not even be sitting in ibadat or sitting in dua. but he continues to serve the Jamaat without asking for anything in return. जी.
बरकत साहब रुक जाओ, no, you need to wait because it's his
हाँ.
turn.
सर आपने वो एक कान की जो एग्जांपल दी थी नूर के बारे में
जी.
तो किसी आलिम की किताब के अंदर मैंने पढ़ा था कि while you are doing the बंदगी there will be a point in time कि आप कान के नज़दीक जो है वो मच्छर की आवाज़ मस्कीटो जो है वो तुम्हारे कान के नज़दीक कॉन्स्टेंटली आपको बिन-बिनाता होगा. तो अगर हम इबादत करते हैं और कभी कभार जैसे सर ने कहा कि या अली जो है वो या वहाब में चेंज हो रहा है और अगर आपके पास इल्म नहीं है तो आप उसको जो है वो इग्नोर करने की कोशिश करेंगे. तो ये या वहाब जो है वो ये वर्ड है, ये इसमें आज़म है, बट एट द सेम टोकन मच्छर की आवाज़ ये इसका रेफरेंस जो है ना वो कुरान के अंदर भी दिया गया है कि हम मच्छर की एग्जाम्पल देने से हमें इसकी फिक्र नहीं है, हम शर्माते नहीं है, ये कुरान के अंदर है. तो कभी कभार हम अगर बैठते हैं बंदगी के अंदर और हमें यहाँ पे मच्छर की आवाज़ आती है, that is one of the sign कि don't think that there is a मच्छर physically mosquito right there, but this is a part of the journey. You will see that you are progressing right now and it will happen to you to some moments, you know.
Yes, Arya.
Is it like the confidence of the birds, like where they go to simmer and then?
जी.
Speak loudly, girl.
Is it like the confidence of the birds where they go to the simmer and then where like all the
Yeah.
birds and
One is taking all the others. जी. जी. There is. So, did everybody hear her?
No.
In a conference of the bird,
Oh,
the one bird who reaches to the end, then he comes back and tells everybody that I have seen the king of the king. And then he takes everybody with him. So there is an example of an Arif who does that. To add to Barkat Bhai's comment about Bauza, that is the word you want to look in Quran. Bauza, जिसका मतलब होता है मच्छर. So मच्छर की बिन बिनाट, that is the first sound, not the word or talk, but the first sound of the Israfili sound that a moment hear, which is easy on our ears, क्योंकि Israfili जो sound है वो बहुत ही hard and loud होता है. So first sound to get us used to it is the sound of the mosquito that we hear. But of course, if you are sitting in Karachi in Platin or Jamathana, you will hear that every day. Okay? So, when you hear that sound, your normal reaction would be what? There will be your normal reaction until you realize one day the sound is not coming from outside, it's coming from inside of you. When that happens, of course you don't say to anybody. What do? You just do your shukrana, and if you know that there is a first sign of the Imam, and he's saying, I'm about to bring a Qiyamah Arwaniyat on you. That is the first sign of the Imam. And you will hear, the bin minar or the buzzing sound of the mosquito. So, then you would not know and you will miss it, right? अगर हमारे पास एक सवाल है इसके बाद let's take a break after this question. Very good. So let's take the second question first. The Imam in recent Jama, okay, Hazar Imam, keep telling us that Ibadat is not a farz, not a compulsory, but if you want to do an individual search, then come to me and I will give you this Azam. Ibadat is the most important thing in a human life. सब human की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं. But it's not compulsory. It is your free will, individual search. That if you wanted to do it with your free will, even when you get to Imam's darbar and in his presence, he asks you that one more time, are you here with your free will? And then he gives you this Azam. So what is Imam saying? Do you understand the importance of the ibadat? Because if you don't, if this put a compulsory on you or force on you, it's not going to benefit you. So you come with your free will, with your understanding that that's what you want to do, and that's what Imam is saying. And when a moment says that I'm ready, Ya Mola, I want to take this Azam. When we do the ranks of the moments, the very first step, the moment is a generic word. Everybody who comes to Jamaat and everybody who does the good deed, smiley or no smiley, you can say that he is a moment. Just being a moment is not good enough. But when you go to have this Azam, the first thing you are telling the Imam, Ya Mullah, I'm submitting myself, I'm ready to learn, I'm ready to do something. What does Imam do? He takes you being a moment and puts you as a mustajib. Mustajib meaning someone saying, I'm ready to take the admission, I'm ready to learn, I'm ready to do something. Do you see that? You're already in the ranks. You haven't even started the ibadat yet. But just saying that, he gives you the first step up rank. So that was the answer to your second question. The first question, what happened to you, it may not happen to others, or something else would happen to them. The word Allahu Akbar itself meaning is a calling, is azan. It's calling you to waking you up and saying, wake up. Now there are few different kind of waking up. Waking up for that one night, or Imam is telling you to wake up and do something with your soul, or do something for your soul. Wake up. So I would say this was the calling number 2. When Imam wanted to wake you up, he will use different tools to wake you up, sometimes in a harsh way by giving some taklif or bimari, or sometimes in an easy way of just calling on you, telling you to wake up. And he is waking you up and telling you, and this is not just for you, it's for all of us. Imam is telling us to wake up and do something for your soul. Do something with your soul. Don't sleep. Not sleeping physically, but don't sleep. Ji.
So sometimes like a scary dream that you receive in the middle of the night that wakes you up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's also calling, yeah?
Tell you to wake up.
Ji.
You sit down and do this.
Yeah.
Because then you're scared.
Yeah. Ji.
Akbar?
A really quick question. So, when I started the ibadat, somebody older than me noticed that I sit far away from everybody. I used to sit in the middle of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I have my own reasons, because I hear people snoring and
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to snore.
Yeah, it's not that, I may be guilty of it too, but that person tells me that, you are you're not taking the benefit of other people who are doing ibadah. So you should be in the proximity, meaning that you should be able to raise your arms and be almost able to touch them. And I never were able to reconcile this.
I wouldn't worry about
and
it.
I think it's an individual search.
I would not worry about that. So let me give you another example, okay? So you may understand.
Yeah.
So as one of the wazin, we don't need a name, he would say that in ibadat, always sit like this, sit like this, sit like this. Never extend your feet, never sit in the chair. He will give all these restrictions, right? So what would I do if I have a knee problem or I have a back problem? Would I not go to ibadat? So physical discipline is different than spiritual understanding. When it comes to spiritual understanding, and this is example you can remember and give to, not for the sake of argument, just for your understanding. Prophet Muhammad will go to Ghar Hira and do his ibadat on his own, away from everybody else. I cannot give you a better example of it, right? So it's a spiritual matter, it's not a physical thing. Ji.